Okay, so what is a crop?
Like a plant you can eat.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. So when these plants, okay, when they are grown in a huge scale, right, we have to feed all the people, right? Where do we get all these rice, wheat, grains? Where do we get all these? We are getting from these crops, right? So we have to produce it in a huge scale, right, so that everyone can eat, right? So so it's important to understand how these crops are produced, right, how we are managing these crops, and what are the agricultural implements or instruments we are using, what are the machines we are using, right, and what are the chemicals we are using, manures, fertilizers, what are the types of crops we are growing, which season, in which season what crops are grown. So it's important to learn about all that. Okay, so we'll just start with a video. Okay, we will just start with a short video, and then we will go to the topic. All right.
Okay.
Okay, just give it a moment. The net is a little bit slow today. Give it a moment. Okay, till the time it's loading. Okay, it's loading, right? So what are the crops that you already know about? Give me some examples.
Like dear friends, you must have seen farmers working in paddy fields.
Just a moment. Yeah.
They work for all.
Are you able to see the screen? Nikhil, are you able to see the screen? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Are you able to see the screen? Hello,
Yeah.
Nikhil? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just a moment. Actually, this is opened in like another window. Just give me a moment. Uh,
Introduction. Dear friends, you must have seen farmers working in paddy fields. They work for all day long. But have you ever wondered that where do they get that energy to do their work with full enthusiasm? Actually, like us, they also get this energy from the food that they eat. In other words, we can say that food is the main source of energy for our body for daily activities. We get our food from both plants and animals. Food has to be produced on a large scale to meet everyone's requirements. This module, we will discuss about crop production and for the distribution of food. Objectives. At the end of this module, you will be able to categorize crops on the basis of seasons in which they grow. List the types of tools used for plowing. List the advantages of manure and fertilizers. Describe the different methods of irrigation. Define weeds and weedicides. Describe harvesting and storage of corn. Explain animal husbandry. Friends, have you ever looked at a groundnut plant? Can we call it a crop? No, we cannot. Do you know the fact that when same types of plants are grown at a large scale, then season they are grown in. That is, rabi crops and kharif crops. Rabi crops are usually grown in the winter season from October to March. Wheat, gram, and peas are the examples of rabi crop. Kharif crops are usually sown in the rainy season, generally from June to September. Paddy, maize, groundnut, etc. are some common examples of kharif crop. To grow crops, various activities are performed, which are known as agricultural practices. Let us know them one by one in detail.
Right, so we cannot grow any plant in any season, right? We don't get mangoes throughout the year, do we only get to eat mangoes in summer season, yes or no? Tell me. Yeah. So why can't we get mangoes in winter season? Why? It's because we cannot grow mangoes in winter season, right? There is a particular environment temperature that is required to grow each plant. Okay, and based on that, the plants have been divided into two categories. First is this rabi crops, and then we have kharif crops. Okay, the rabi crops, they are grown during winter season, right? And the kharif crops are grown in summer and rainy seasons, like from June to September. Okay, so these two you should remember, and you should also remember some examples for it as well. Okay, you always have to remember some examples for it. Just 2 3 examples are enough. Just the ones that are given here are also enough. Okay, so the maize is there, groundnut is there, paddy means rice. Okay, so all these are what? Kharif crops. Okay, and rabi crops, we have grams, yes or no? We have peas. They are rabi crops. Okay, so just try to remember a few examples from each category. Okay.
Dear friends, do you know that how farmers grow crops in a large field? What is their first requirement? Well, first of all, they prepare the soil for growing the crop. For that, they turn the soil and loosen it. The loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworms and microbes present in the soil. These organisms are also known as farmers' friends. They add humus to the soil. Turning and loosening of soil brings the nutrient-rich soil to the top. These nutrients are then used by the plants. Now look at this farmer. He's plowing the field. As we can see that it is made up of wood. Let us see its structure. It contains a strong triangular iron string called plowshare, and the main part of the plow is a long log of wood called plow shaft. Another tool used in plowing is a hoe. It is used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. It is a long rod of wood, and this strong, broad, and bent plate of iron works like a blade. Most of you must have seen tractors in the farmhouse. Nowadays, plowing is done by tractor-driven cultivators.
Yeah, is there any doubt, Nikhil? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, so what are we seeing over here? We are seeing the process of plowing or tilling of soil. Okay, plowing or tilling of soil. Why is plowing and tilling of soil required? It's because of different reasons. A lot of reasons are required, because this plowing, we do this plowing and tilling. One of the reason is that the nutrient rich soil, okay, it helps the nutrient rich soil that is beneath, okay, that is under the first layer of soil. It will help the nutrient rich soil to come at the top. Okay, you would have seen in movies and in farms these tractors are being used, right? These tractors, I don't know in your place whether they are using bullocks and or not, okay, because nowadays a lot of machines have taken place, this traditional practices. So in your place, I guess these tractors would be used mostly, right? So you would have seen it in some movies or some farms, right? These tractors are basically used for plowing the fields, okay. So the entire point of plowing is uh, we have to just bring the lower surface, the under surface of the soil to the top surface, right? Why? Because it will help in a lot of research, it will help in a lot of things. First, the nutrient rich soil that is beneath, it will come o- at the upper surface, right? And then it will help the earthworm and the other microorganisms to get on the surface, right? We will see why earthworms and these other microorganisms are helpful, right? Because they will add humus to the soil, okay. We will see what humus is in the later part of the video as well, why humus is important, right? Plus, when we will plow, when we will this plowing and tilling, when it is done, what will happen? The uh, soil will be a little bit loose, okay. It will be little bit loose, the soil particles will be loosened, okay. There will be air, okay, there will be air between the soil particles. So that is also very important when we will sow the seeds, right? For germination, when we will be sowing the seeds in the next step, that is very important, right? So this is why plowing and tilling is very important. A lot of different methods can be used. Just now we saw Oh, okay. These tractors are also being used. Huge machines are being used nowadays, right? So bullock carts are used, right? So these are the different types of methods by which we can actually do the plowing and tilling process. Okay, so this is the first step, right? This whole crop production is in different steps. So the first step of this is plowing and tilling. Okay, are we clear about this? Nikhil, are you there? Yeah, are we clear about this? Okay.
Cultivator, which saves both labor and time. Once blowing is done,
What? One more thing, right? Using these bullock carts, or if we just do it manually with a hoe, what will happen? It will require a lot of labor and lot of time. Okay, we have huge acres of fields, right? It's huge pieces of land, okay, that are used for crop production, right? So we will require a lot more time, a lot more effort, a lot more labor when we are doing it manually. Instead, if we shift to these machines like tractors, what will happen? It will reduce the labor, it will reduce the time. Yes or no? It will reduce the effort. Okay, so that is why we are shifting to a more technological side nowadays. Okay, nowadays very few people, the farmers which are very poor, they will be using these bullock carts and hoe etc for this plowing of fields, right? In all the steps, yeah, all the steps that we are going to see further also in this video, we will have a traditional technique, okay, and we have a newer technology, right? Using these machines. So these traditional techniques are being what to say, these traditional techniques are gradually we are not practicing anymore. Why? Because it is just taking a lot more effort, it is taking a lot more labor. Only very poor farmers who cannot afford this high end technologies, they will be using this traditional techniques, okay. But previously, in previous days when these technologies were not there, we used to practice this manual techniques only, these traditional techniques only, okay. So these this is also very important. That is why this chapter is also very important. How can we ease this production, how can we ease this crop production, right, for the farmers? Okay, how can we how can we create more new technologies, how can we create more machines, right? More innovations can be done in this field, right? So all of this is because to reduce the labor, to reduce the effort, and to reduce the time that we are that we are spending on this crop production, okay.
Next step is sowing. Before sowing, farmers select good quality seeds to get high yields. Have you ever noticed your mother putting some grains in a vessel and pouring some water to it? What happens after a few minutes? Some seeds start to float. What is the reason behind this? Some damaged seeds float on water because they are hollow and hence lighter. Actually, this is a good method for separating good, healthy seeds from the damaged ones. Now let us see what are the tools used for sowing seeds. Look at this farmer. He has a funnel-shaped tool for sowing seeds. Observe them closely. What is he doing with this tool? Yes, he is filling seeds into the funnel and passing them down through the sharp ends of the pipe to get them seeded in the soil. This is a traditional method and very easy. Nowadays, farmers use modern seed drills for sowing with the help of tractors. I'm sure you're wondering how this seed drill works. It sows the seeds uniformly at proper distance and depth, ensuring that seeds get covered by the soil after sowing. This process also saves a lot of time and labor. Select true or false for each statement. Click on the button to submit your answer.
Okay, so the first step was plowing or tilling of soil. Okay, now the second step is sowing. Okay, sowing of seeds. Okay, now we have to ensure that the seeds that we are sowing are of good quality, right? And how can we ensure that? One very simple technique has been shown in this video, and it is actually widely practiced. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to just take a bucket of water. Okay, and we will put the seeds in that. Okay, after we will leave that for some time, and after some time we will see that some of the seeds will be floating in the water, rest will be sitting down at the bottom. Okay, so the ones that are floating are the damaged seeds. Okay, so we can just remove that seeds and we can just use the ones that are sitting at the bottom. Okay, so this is a very easy and nice technique to separate the damaged seeds. Okay, so we have to ensure that all the seeds are of good quality. Right, so we will take all the good quality seeds and we will start to sow the seeds in the ground. Okay, now while sowing also there are a lot of factors that we have to keep in mind. First, there should be, yeah, Nikhil, any doubt is there?
There's like some background.
There is background noise. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah.
There's some background noise I can hear from your end as well. I don't know
No,
why.
yeah, there is background noise on my end. I just have to stay on mute if that's fine for you.
Yeah, okay, okay, it's okay. Okay. Just keep telling me that whenever I'll ask that is it understood or you have understood the topic, just say yes. Okay. Rest of the time you can keep yourself mute. Okay. So what I was saying, there are a lot of factors that we have to keep in mind before sowing the seed. One of them is there should be a proper distance between the two seeds that we are sowing. Okay, there should not be overcrowding of seed. It should not be like we are sowing 4 to 5 seeds at one place only. Okay, why? Because when the plants will grow, what will happen, they will fight with each other for nutrients. Okay, there will be competition for nutrients. Okay, if we are just sowing in one place, and there will be limited space for them to grow. Okay, so that is why we have to ensure that these seeds are being sown at a distance. Okay, now one, the manual technique that we have seen in the video, okay, it takes a lot of time, lot of effort, lot of labor. Okay, now how you can do it, it is one of the traditional technique. Okay, so in all these steps that we are going to see, okay, there will be some traditional techniques and there will be some innovative techniques that we are using nowadays. Okay, so the traditional technique or the manual technique that we used to do was, we will take a funnel. Okay, we will just put 2 3 seeds down that funnel, and then we will place the funnel at a different point and then we will repeat the same. So this is a manual technique. Now nowadays what is being done, with the help of tractor we are sowing the seeds. Okay, so there is a different machine for that as well. So while plowing the soil only, we are just sowing the seeds. Okay, now this machine is made in such a way that this distance that is supposed to be between these seeds is maintained. Okay, they are just sowing the seeds at a particular interval so that the distance between them is maintained. Okay, so this is the newer techniques, new innovative techniques that are coming up, and mostly people are using this nowadays. Okay, manual technique is fading out. Are we clear about this? Yes or no? Okay. Now select true or false for each statement. Okay. Hoe is generally used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. True or false? Tell me. Is it true or it is false? True, very good. Seeds can be sown by using seed drills. Can only be sown by using seed drills. True or false? False. Okay. So we have manual techniques as well. Okay.
Friends, now let us move on to the next topic of this module. I'm sure you must have heard the term manure many a times. Do you know what it is? Okay, let us see. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of plant and animal wastes. To make it, farmers dumped plant and animal wastes in pits at open places where it is decomposed by microorganisms. Soil fertility and nutrients are reduced due to repeated cultivation of crops year after year. Farmers therefore add manure to the fields to replenish the soil with nutrients. This process is called manuring. Now let us look at some of the major advantages of organic manure. Manure enhances the water holding capacity of the soil. It makes the soil porous, due to which exchange of gases become easy. It improves the texture of the soil. It also increases the number of friendly microbes necessary for a healthy crop. Like manure, fertilizers are also used in replenishing the lost new gases become easy. It improves the texture of the soil. It also increases the number of friendly microbes necessary.
Okay, so the next step is after sowing the seeds, what we have to do? We have to add manure. Okay, manure is nothing but the mixture of plant waste and animal waste. Okay, so we are just mixing it. Okay, and then we are adding it to the soil. There are a lot of advantages of manure that are given in the video as well. Okay, so whenever you are you have a lot of kitchen waste, yes or no? When you will peel the fruits, the fruit will be like, the fruit seed will be there, right? The peels of the fruit will be there, vegetables will be there, right? A lot of waste food is also there, right? So we can just do one thing. We can just make a compost pit in your garden. Okay, you can just make a compost pit. You can just dump all these plant waste and animal waste into it, and you can just leave it for a few days. Okay, so after this decomposition is happening, you can just take, that is the only method you can make the manure. Okay, it is very easy to make manure, and this type of manure is known as organic manure. Okay, but that once you are just using this plant waste and animal waste, this type of manure is known as organic manure. Okay, so we have some advantages of manure. First is it will increase the water holding capacity of the soil. Okay, and it improves the texture of the soil. It will increase the number of friendly microbes. All these earthworms and all will be increased after adding this manure. Okay, and it makes the soil more porous. Okay, what is meant by porous? There will be more space between the soil particles, due to which the exchange of gases become very easy. Okay, because plants will also need air for respiration, right? So this respiration is made easy because of this, because of more exchange of gases, due to the when the soil is more porous. Okay, so that is why this manure is very important. Okay, this adding of manure and fertilizers is very important. Why it is very important? Because a farmer will have the same piece of land, okay, over the years he won't change the land, okay, he will buy the land once and he will be cultivating in the same piece of land, okay. So after repeated cultivation, what will happen? The soil will be deprived of the nutrients, okay. Why? Because the plants will take all the nutrients when they grow up, right? So it will be deprived of the nutrients. So to add the nutrients again, we add this manure and fertilizers, okay. Fertilizers are basically the chemical forms, okay. We have organic fertilizers also, we have inorganic fertilizers also, that we will see, okay. Now but manure is purely organic, okay. We can just make it in our homes, okay. You have a garden, just make a pit in your garden, okay. Just add all the kitchen waste into that, okay, and cover it, okay. And after some time you will have the manure, the decomposition will occur, and you will have the manure, and you can just go and simply add it into your field, okay. So this is very easy and it is very advantageous also. Are we clear about this? You just try to remember the advantages of manure and fertilizers, it is very important. Are we clear about this? Yes or no? Okay.
For a healthy crop. Like manure, fertilizers are also used in replenishing the lost nutrients and minerals in the soil. Fertilizers are the chemicals used to add minerals like potassium, phosphorus, and nitrates to the soil. Fertilizers are produced in factories. Some examples of fertilizers are urea, ammonium sulfate, potash, and NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The use of fertilizers increases the crop yield. However, there are some disadvantages of using fertilizers. Excessive use of fertilizers makes the soil less fertile, and they also have become a source of water pollution. Difference between fertilizers and manures.
Okay, so just like manure, we add fertilizers also. Now, fertilizers are mostly inorganic. Okay, they will be having potassium, they will be having phosphorus, they will be having ammonium, urea, okay, nitrogen. These all are also required by the soil. Okay, but excessive in limited quantities, if we are adding this fertilizer, it will be helpful in the soil fertility. Okay, it will increase the soil fertility. But what happens when we add this in excessive quantities? Okay, then it's harmful, then it is disadvantageous, right? So why it is disadvantageous? Because in excessive quantities, over time, what will happen? The fertility of the soil will decrease, okay. And it is one of the major causes of water pollution nowadays, okay. Why it is, how it is linked to water pollution? Tell me, how it is linked to water pollution. I can't hear you, Nikhil. Can you just be a little louder? Okay. See, the fields are generally near rivers and ponds. Okay, the farmers, they will try to get fields near these rivers and ponds. Why? Because it will be helpful in irrigation. We will see what irrigation is in the next part of the video, right? So irrigation is, we will need a lot of water. Yes or no? Whenever we are growing a plant, we will need water. Okay, so we will need a lot of water to grow these crops, okay. So that process is known as irrigation. Okay, now what happens? We will, when this irrigation process is there, the excess water from the field will be going down and joining the river or the pond which is situated nearby, okay. So what is happening? the water that is running from the field, it will be mixed with these fertilizers. Okay, and this fertilizer along with that liver, along with that water will be joining that river or the streams that are present nearby. Okay, so it is causing water pollution. Okay, now this excess fertilizer, excess chemical component is present in this water, okay, or the river. Okay, so that is how it is causing this water pollution as well. Okay, now this is the difference between fertilizer and manure. It is very very important. First, manure is very important. What is the definition of manure? Okay, then what are the advantages of manure, how manure is made, that is very important. Second is important, this fertilizer, what are the chemical components of fertilizer, what are the examples of fertilizer, what are the disadvantages of fertilizer, and as well as what are the advantages of fertilizer. Third, this difference between this fertilizer and manure is also very important. Okay, so fertilizer, it is a fertilizer is an inorganic salt. Okay, whereas manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung, human waste, and plant residues. Okay, a fertilizer is prepared in factories, manure can be prepared in the fields. A fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil, whereas manure will provide large amount of humus to the soil. A fertilizer is very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Manure is relatively rich in plant nutrients. Okay, so we are adding manure to provide humus, and we are adding fertilizer to provide the nutrients that are required for the growth of plants like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Just remember these three chemicals: nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. It is very very important. Are we clear about this? Shall we move ahead? Yes or no?
Yes. Till now, we have learned about manures and fertilizers and their uses. Now, let us move on to know another method of replenishing the soil with nutrients. It is known as crop rotation. Do you know when the cereal crop like rice is grown in the soil, it uses up a lot of nitrogenous salts that if another cereal crop is grown in the same soil, the soil becomes nitrogen deficient. So, by rotation, a leguminous crop should be grown after cereal crop. You will be surprised to know that some bacteria is present in the root nodules of these leguminous plants. These are known as rhizobium bacteria, which fix atmospheric nitrogen to form nitrogen compounds. When these nitrogen compounds go into the soil becomes more fertile. Thus, planting leguminous plant will result in nitrogen-rich soil, and when a cereal is grown in the soil, food grain production increases. Friends, can you tell me that which of the following is not a
Okay, so one way of replenishing the nutrient and humus and everything in the soil is this adding of fertilizer and manure. Okay, now there is one another technique that can be used to replenish the nutrients in the soil, that is crop rotation. Okay, what is meant by crop rotation? We are using different types of crops. Okay, suppose this time I have grown paddy. Okay, what is meant by paddy? I am growing rice, okay, in my field. Okay, now these rice plants, they will take up a lot of nitrogen from the soil, okay, to grow. They will take up lot of nitrogen from the soil to grow. Okay, now what will happen if the next year also I am growing rice again? What will happen? The soil will be deficient in this nitrogen. Okay, the soil will be deficient in nitrogen. Okay, now to prevent this, what we can do, suppose I am growing rice this time, I can plant leguminous plant, I can grow leguminous plant the next time. Okay, what is leguminous plant? Like the grams, okay, peas and all, these are leguminous plants. The pulses, all these pulses are leguminous plant. Okay, so these leguminous plants, in the roots they will have nodules. Okay, we just saw it just a moment. Yeah, see, they are, can you see this nodules over here? These nodules will have rhizobium bacteria. Okay, it will have rhizobium bacteria, and that rhizobium bacteria will help to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. Okay, so now what is happening, the soil is rich in nitrogen again, so the next time we can grow paddy again, and the next time we can grow leguminous plant again. So this way the soil will be having its nutrition replenished. Okay, so this is the entire objective of crop rotation. Okay, so not just this paddy and leguminous, we can just see that what plant nutrient is taken up by each plant. Okay, what plant nutrition is taken up by each type of crop, and then we can just complement it with the plant that is replenishing that type of nutrient. Okay, so the deficiency of that nutrient in that soil will not occur. Okay, so instead of just going growing paddy in the or rice in the field, what we can do, we can just alternate it by leguminous plants. Are we clear about this? So this is one more method of replenishing the nutrition apart from manure and fertilizers. Okay, so crop rotation is also very important question, as well as this example is very important. Okay, you just can learn this one example of paddy and leguminous plants. Okay, and this leguminous plants also, how these leguminous plants are helping in fixing the nitrogen again, is also very important. The name of the bacteria is very important, rhizobium bacteria. Are we clear about this? Yes or no, Nikhil? Yes. Okay. Okay. So which of the following is not a leguminous plant? Tell me. This is ground. First is peas. Okay. Then this is gram. Then the third one is rice. And the fourth one is groundnut. Which of the following is not a leguminous plant? Tell me. Hello. Wheat? Yeah, this is wheat. I think this is wheat. You are saying wheat? Yes. Okay, good.
Not a leguminous plant. Click your option. Friends, as we all know that water is very essential for all living beings, but what is its role in the production of crops? Actually, water is essential for crops because germination of seeds cannot take place under dry conditions. Water is absorbed by the plant roots, and along with it, minerals and fertilizers are also absorbed. Hence, watering the crops in the fields is called irrigation. The time and frequency of irrigation varies from soil to soil, crop to crop, and season to season. Now the question arises, what are the sources of irrigation? Wells, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams, and canals are the some of the main sources of water irrigation. Let us now know modern methods of irrigation. A sprinkler system. This system is most useful on the uneven land where sufficient water is not available. In this system, the perpendicular pipes, having rotating nozzles on top, are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under pressure with the help of a pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles and gets sprinkled on the crop as if it is raining. Next is a drip system. In this system, the water falls drop by drop, just at the position of the root. It is the best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens, and trees. We can see water is not wasted at all, and hence we can say that it is a boon in regions where availability of water is very poor.
1 second, I have to go do something. I'll be right back. Yeah, what's the problem, Nikhil? Oh, I have to go do something. I'll be right back. Okay, okay, okay.